Welcome everybody to a brand new edition called Imagine That. I'm your host Jay, and we are doing this right here in our studios from inside out. Yep, absolutely. I have now decided to make Imagine That an actual real podcast or segment instead of what you've seen before in the past. And I hope every one of you out there that's tuning in tonight will enjoy and appreciate this new change. Trying to keep things, entertaining, as in a sense, bring some new style and some difference to this podcast, and not trying to be so boring or mundane, if you get my drift. But with that being said, as you guys can see in the title description here tonight, we're going to be talking about something that obviously needs to be addressed a lot more than it currently is. And yes, we've done a live show on this very topic before with our great team that is involved with this network. But for tonight's show, we're going to do something a little different. As you guys can see, we're not live. This is pre-recorded, and I have decided to get up here and do this in more detail than from what we did in the last video. And I mean that with all respect to everybody that was involved, because I believe more detail is crucial when it comes to our system and all of that. Now, why am I talking about addiction? Yep. Well, obviously, we are dealing with a lot of issues when it comes to that topic or that word, addiction. And we're going to be breaking it down in a lot of great detail here tonight, where for some reason I forgot to mention in the last video that I did. Unfortunately, a lot of our addictions is the reason why our system the way it is and our prisons and jails are so full. People just do what we call impulse thinking, and they really don't think about the consequences of their issues or problems that they have. Yep, absolutely. Addiction causes so many problems in this country. And your host, Jay, is going to break down all the juicy details here tonight under that topic alone. All right? So if you guys are new here, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. If you're tuning in, if you're a follower that's been here for quite some time, thank you again for being here. I appreciate it. But for whatever reason, if you are new here, please do me a favor. Hit and smash that like button real quick before we get started. And go up there and hit that subscribe button too as well. Make sure you turn on the bell. That way you'll get notified every single time I do a pre-recorded event like this or a live event right here in our studios from inside out. Also, hit and smash that like button and hit the share button, guys. That way it really, tickles the YouTube algorithm and gets me out there for more people to see and get educated on. Because obviously we need a buttload of education. You'll be amazed how many people are ignorant out here under certain topics and certain things that are going on in this country. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the word addiction and what causes it. And I think some of this detail or data tonight that I'm going to be showing you guys here on the screen is going to be shocking to some of you. And it just explains more what's really going on and what causes all of this in the first place and why we get hooked and deal with some of these issues. But what is addiction? Well, we already know what the word is, so I'm not going to break that down. But addiction is basically addicted to certain things that we have in this country. And you're going to see the list of some of these things here tonight. One of which, we're addicted to food. Yep, absolutely, guys, food. We're also addicted to sugar, which is in a lot of our foods. We're addicted to salt and a few other things. All right? But keep in mind, sugar, as mentioned before, comes from the cane family. If you get my drift, sugar is considered a drug, a legal drug, but it's still there and it's highly addictive. More on that tonight too as well. Drugs, gambling, just to name a few. Also, the three-letter word that you're going to see here tonight too as well, because obviously mostly men, are wired differently than our counterparts. And mostly men, are visual. We're going to be talking about that and so many other things, what causes addiction in the first place. But the bigger question, guys, before we get into it, is what can we do to stop it? Is there a cure? Is addiction a mental condition? A lot of great questions, and the answers are going to be answered here tonight. Let's get into it. With that said, let's go ahead and open the share screen real quick, guys, tonight. And I'm going to show you guys a website, which I get a lot of my information from, believe it or not. And we're going to show you guys that right now. Let me get the settings fixed here real quick. As you guys can see here, this information and data and research is coming from the Cleveland Clinic, of all places. If you haven't heard of it, the link in their website and other information is going to be in the description of this video here tonight. All right, guys? So let's go ahead and talk about the word addiction. Here's that word, guys. We're talking about addiction. You guys can see it right there on your screen. Let's go ahead and get into the details of what this is, and I think a lot of you are going to be surprised on what you're seeing here. Let me get this scrolled down now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Addiction is a chronic condition that can affect many aspects of your life. Okay? Always keep this stuff in mind. Take notes if need be. And here's what it's including your physical and mental health. Yes, absolutely. Relationships and career. There are two main forms of addiction. Two. See, I didn't even know that. Substance use disorders and behavior addictions. Okay? Again, take notes, guys. Addiction is treatable. Absolutely is. It's crucial to seek help as soon as possible. So before we go any further, guys, understand this. If you got an addiction, and it doesn't matter what it is, one is always going to be severe than the other. I highly suggest and recommend you seek professional help before things get out of hand. And it can, and it's been proven out there. Let's go ahead and move down real quick. This is going to be a somewhat short podcast for tonight. And of course, after I'm done explaining and showing you guys all the data here tonight, I got an update for tomorrow's show live and a few other things here tonight as well. So stay tuned for that. Here's the overview of the topic addiction. And I hope you guys appreciate this podcast here tonight. Big question. What is addiction? Let's break it down. Here's the answers. I'm going to highlight it so you guys can see it. Read along with me if you want to. Addiction is a chronic, lifelong condition. Keep that in mind. Again, I'll say it for the people in the back. Lifelong condition. And if you don't get yourself fixed, there might not be any hope or cure for you. All right, moving down the line. That involves compulsive seeking and taking of substance or performing of an activity despite negative or harmful consequences. And obviously you already know what that means, so I'm not going to get into the details. Here's some more information. Addiction can significantly impact your health. It does. People have died on these addictions, believe it or not. Relationships, breakup, divorces, you name it. And overall quality of life. It's crucial to seek help as soon as you develop signs of addiction. And obviously there's a slew of them. So here it is. Great question. Here it is, guys. Listen to this. Is addiction a disease? Absolutely it is. There's the answer. Yes, addiction is a disease. It's a chronic condition, so it's mental. The American Society of Addiction Medicine, ASMAM, defines addiction as a chronic brain disorder. Told you guys. See, again, proof in the pudding that when I talk about certain things such as this, there's the proof in the pudding with receipts and stuff to back up my claims that I've been talking about. Okay? Moving on real quick. Addiction doesn't happen from having a lack of willpower or as a result of making bad decisions. You guys can see it right there. Your brain chemistry changes with addiction. Pay attention to the information here, guys. Here's the question that gets asked a lot. What are the types of addiction? Here they are. There are two main groups of addiction. Pay attention, guys. Boom. Substance addictions. That means drugs and other things that we'll try to go into detail here tonight. The second one on the list, guys, is this one: non-substance addictions, behavior addictions, where there's no drugs involved. Basically, what that means. Moving down the list, substance addictions, guys. I hope you guys know what that means. Healthcare providers, again, let me highlight this so you guys can pay attention and find out where I'm going here so we can get this taken care of the best detailed way. Okay, it says this: healthcare providers and the medical community now call substance addiction substance use disorder. Yeah, you heard that correctly. The American psychiatric, basically professional doctors association, diagnostics and statistical manual of mental disorders. So DSM for short. Okay. All these people that you see here have done scientific research, other kinds of research, professional research, and so many other things that have shown you guys right here with proof in the pudding that this is a major issue. Okay? So I want you guys to pay attention to details, because now you can see down right below this, there's a list of what are things that people get addicted on. Of course, there's a lot more, but this is some of the major ones. All right, so pay attention to the list. Look at this list, guys. Number one on the list, this is a no-brainer. Alcohol. Now, how can we curtail this? How can we get rid of this problem? There's a solution for everything, I might add. Believe it or not, there is. There's a solution for all of this stuff that you're seeing on the screen tonight. You want my solution / opinion? Stop producing it. Stop making alcohol, and we've pretty much resolved or solved some of the major problems with this word right here alone. Alcohol. Okay? If you have a problem with alcohol or you're an alcoholic, I suggest you go get some help before it gets worse. Next thing down the list, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Oops, it won't let me highlight it. But anyways, it did. Caffeine. We're all hooked to that, especially in the mornings. We got to have our caffeine to function before we go to work. You know, obviously everybody drinks it. I don't. My caffeine's more in soda. So I'm not a coffee person. I'm a soda person. That's where I get my caffeine from. And unfortunately, there's other downfalls with it. And I need to come to terms with it that I have a problem with soda. But only I can fix that. No one else can. Next thing down the list, look at this, guys. And this is a no-brainer. Again, I have nothing against this. Don't take me like I'm beating it up. But people are addicted to this. Also, people say you can't get addicted. Well, if that was the case, it wouldn't be on this list. Cannabis or MJ. Okay, you guys know all too well what this is. I'm not going to get into it, but you guys can see people are hooked or addicted or addicted to this. Look at this. Here's another one. Okay, PCP, LSD. People get hooked on that or addicted to that. They don't know when to stop. Okay, I'll keep going. I'll move the list up a little bit more. I mean, you guys are going to really appreciate, at least I hope you will, appreciate some of this information here that a lot of you probably didn't even know. Okay, look at this. Boom. These are the drugs that you can get either through your doctor or somewhere in that field, and these are really highly addicted. You know, sleeping pills, anxiety drugs. You know, sedatives. You guys see it. Barbiturates. These are all bad, and everybody gets hooked on these. There's the list. You can see it right there. Even this right here, people even get hooked on this. It's called inhalants. But what that is, it's like gas. Okay, so like for example, right here. God dang it. Come on, don't do that. Anyways, such as paint thinners, aerosol sprays, gases, and nitrants, poppers. Yeah. It's a cheap high, but people do it all the time for their next fix. Here's another one. This is the reason why our prisons and jails are so full, because people can't stay away from these problems. And again, people have such a major pride issue that they can't admit that they got a problem. First, you got to acknowledge you got a problem. Then you got to go get yourself help. But again, most people can't admit because it's embarrassing. They got a pride issue. They can't admit they got a problem. And also, keep in mind, with all these drugs being shown here tonight, believe it or not, once you're an addict, you stay an addict, even if you're clean. That's the old saying. Once an addict, always an addict. More on that later if there's time. Prescription and non-prescription opioids, such as cocaine, oxycodone, and heroin. Yep. Right there in front of your face, guys. You can't make this up. Okay? Here's another one. Okay, prescription and non-prescription stimulants, such as Adderall, cocaine, and meth. These are really difficult words for me. I do apologize, guys. Thank God I'm not a drug addict because I'd fail just in that. But you guys get the idea. Meth. Okay? Are all hooked. Just go walk down my street down here. You'll see it. There's other drugs too now that are becoming hot items. You know what they are. Here's another one. Tobacco, nicotine from the cane family. See? Such as smoking cigarettes and electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and vaping. Yep. Pay attention to all this, guys. It's important that you understand what I'm trying to do here. While these substances are very different from each other, because they all strongly activate the reward center of your brain. Now, did you hear what I just said there? Reward portion of your brain. Here's some more. And produce the feelings of pleasure. Okay. Use of these substances can lead to substance use disorders because we want that good feeling. We want that high that we get from it. Okay. And a lot of people the reason why people do these things, guys, is try to drown themselves out of reality. Because the stress of life makes you do these things. You can't handle realities. So you want to put yourself in a different world by abusing and using drugs just to get yourself out of whatever you're going through. Because that's how people cope, unfortunately. But it says this, but not always. SUDs can be mild, moderate, or severe, depending on the person. Addiction is the most severe form of substance abuse disorder. And keep in mind, it is a disorder, so it's all mental. This is non-substance addictions. Again, this link and this information, guys, that you're seeing here tonight is going to be in the description of this video. If you guys want to read a lot more of this, you can. And they will also have areas where you can click on and go to a different page and get more information about this, such as obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. I know a few people that have that. These are all, I don't think you guys can comprehend how many mental disorders are out there today. More now than ever was back in the day. But here's a laundry list again of more things that people get addicted on. All right, here it is. Check this out. Gambling. Real talk. I've seen people lose everything under this word right here, gambling. Everything. Their pension, their bank account, their house, their cars, their trucks, their boats. Because in their mind, they think that if they do it today, they got the winning ticket or scratch ticket in their hand and they become millionaires. It's in their head. I got to gamble because I think today's it. I'm going to become rich today. And again, we all want to be rich. And what gets me, half of everybody don't realize this though, and I'm probably going to get a lot of heat and slack for saying this. We're already rich. You just are too dense to know it. You know, a good Lord upstairs have already gave us all of our riches, if you will. Why somebody down here on earth wants to be rich is beyond me. And I can give you a prime example of that. Here's proof that, with this big thing going on with P. Diddy, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have seen the news now. Okay? He's got, obviously, a buttload of money. And with all his riches, he can't buy his freedom. And for some of you that don't know what's going on, just so you know, P. Diddy's cooked. He's not going to get out. And with all the money he has in his bank account, all the luxuries, the houses, the cars, the fame, he's not going to be able to buy himself out of this one. More on that later. But again, keep in mind, guys, gambling is, without question, highly addictive because we all want to be rich. Next down the list, guys, eating. What I said early in the very beginning of this podcast. Food, especially fast food. And every dang corner in your town or city has a fast food restaurant waiting for you to go over there and buy. What makes you keep coming back to these restaurants is what they put in their food. It's the ingredients, the salt, the sugar, deep fried. Everything's deep fried. And it sells because it's just, obviously, it's tasty. You get hooked, addicted, and you keep coming back. Okay? Here's another one. People are addicted to this, believe it or not, which is also another multi-million-dollar industry. Exercising or dieting. People have to have that perfect body. Six-pack. Big chest. Muscles galore. Basically, a hard body. Everybody wants that chiseled, perfect body that you see in advertisements and all of that. And they say to themselves in their own brain, God, I want to be like that. God, I want to be, look at that. That's sexy. That's hot. And that's where, exercising and dieting becomes addicting. If I can just get my abs or if I can just get this weight off, people will start liking me more. Here's another one. Shopping. Yep, you heard that right, guys. I'll move the list up. Shopping. People get addicted to shopping, believe it or not. Why? Because they think it kind of fills a void that they're missing. And some like to spend the money. Kind of shopping is like gambling in a sense. You spend money to fix whatever it is that you're trying to get a fix on. Here's another one, guys, and this is the reason why our prisons and jails are so freaking full. Shoplifting or other risky behaviors. It's a rush. Stealing cars. It's a rush. But there's money in it too. Especially if you own a chop shop. Shoplifting. If you steal the shit, whatever it may be, you can turn around and sell it and make it nothing but pure profit. And the reason, again, guys, the reason why people shoplift is whether they can or cannot afford it, they want it to either sell on the black market and make pure profit because they're too lazy to go out and get a 9-to-5. And the reason why theft happens so much, guys, is because people are starting to realize that you can't make it on a 9-to-5 or whatever kind of job you get or how many hours you work. It's pennies on the dollar. There's more money in shoplifting, believe it or not. It's a risk, but people are willing to take it just to get their comeuppings or their next fix or whatever the case may be. Because if you go work for somebody else, there's taxes. They take a lot of money out of your paycheck. So, stealing, there is no taxes. There is for us. The taxpayers have to pay for that. But for the thief, it doesn't affect them. It's a risk. It's a high. It's dopamines. We're going to be talking about that here tonight too as well. Stay tuned. So shoplifting or other risky behaviors is a rush. It's in the brain. They got to do it because it feels good. They love the rush and the feel of it during a high-speed chase or something. Oh, the cops are going to chase you? Let's go. Okay, next one. Obviously, there it is. I'm not going to say the word, but there it is on the screen. People are addicted to that, which leads to this in some circumstances. Boom. Point blank. There it is. Can't make this up. People are addicted to that because, again, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, men, I'm not saying women don't do it either, so I'm not saying that the women don't, but I'm going to tell you guys that the men mostly do this. Men are visual. We're wired differently. We have to view it. Okay. Next, here's another. Whoops, my bad, guys. Let me get this fixed here. Here's another one. Video gaming, especially the young men. Internet gaming disorder. It's called internet gaming disorder. You get so hooked, you want to be the winner, the feel good moment. Oh, I kicked your butt in a shooting game. I'm addicted. I want to be up here. Again, that reward. You want to feel that you're invisible, tough, unstoppable winner. Nobody likes to be a loser. You want to be a winner. So you'll do what you have to get to that point. And you'll play and play and play until you become one. Which in turn, while you're doing all that, it puts a big hamper on your family. Which leads to this. Using the internet, social media, major social media. Everything's social media now because it's cool, it's popular, and there's money in it. Such as on your phone or computer. Everybody wants a piece of the pie now when it comes to that right there alone. And people are so addicted to their phones and tablets and computers. They lose all track of reality. They lose all things that are going on right now. What is the most common addiction? Alcohol use disorder is the most common. As you guys can see there, again, I'll highlight it for you guys for the show tonight. What is the most common addiction? There it is, right there in front of your face, guys. Alcohol disorder. The most common substance addiction, again, just for the record, the most common substance addiction in the United States, followed by nicotine and MJ. About 10% of people aged 12 or older in the USA have alcohol use disorder. And usually it's probably because it came from a family member. Like, say, for example, your mom or your dad. They abused alcohol, so that means the kid's going to do it. What they see is what they learn and what they live. Kids learn what they live. My father was an alcoholic, but I never became one because I was stronger than he was. I never abused alcohol, and that's the truth. But again, kids learn what they live. So if your parents are doing it, 9 times out of 10, the kids will too if they're not mentally strong enough to say no. Symptoms and causes, as you guys can see here. Okay, I'm going to go fast through this real quick. Inability to stop. Mental. How strong mentally are you? Can you stop? If not, get help. That's basically what that means. Increased tolerance. Again, real quick, I'm going to fly through this, guys. Intense focus on substance activity. Okay. Lack of control is another one. Okay. We don't know how to control ourselves. Impulse thinking. We just don't think anymore. We just do. And screw the consequences. All right. Personal problems and health issues. Most important, what causes addiction? Here it is. There's not a single cause of addiction. There it is. I'll highlight it so you guys can see I'm not lying about anything. Here it is. There's not a single cause of addiction. It's a very complex condition, and they're right, it is. Okay? A significant part of how addiction develops is through changes in your brain chemistry. What did I say earlier? Here it is. Pay attention to what I'm about to show you. Substance and certain activities affect your brain, especially the reward center of your brain. Everybody loves to feel and loves rewards. Even I do sometimes. I like to hear that I'm doing a good job, or I like to hear positivity things. It makes you feel good, and there's nothing wrong with that. We get hooked on these things. Here we go. Humans are biologically motivated to seek rewards. We love to be rewarded. Okay? Not from a materialistic thing, verbally. We love to hear it. Often these rewards come from healthy behaviors. Hey, good job, son. Hey, good job, daughter. People like to hear that. Okay? When you spend time with loved ones or eat a delicious meal, your body releases a chemical called dopamine. And you guys can click that too here in this website and get the old details of what dopamine is. It's what makes you feel good. Everybody loves it. They get hooked on it. Okay? They want more and more and more. There's never enough, which makes you feel pleasure. There you go. It becomes a cycle. You seek out these experiences because they reward you with good feelings. And everybody wants that, right? What's wrong with that? So you guys can click on right there, dopamine, and it will take you to another site and tell you and show you what that is. It's all chemical. It's a chemical thing in your brain. Okay. But let's go ahead and come back into the studio. You guys get the general idea. Again, real quick to recap the things that people are addicted on. I know there's a lot more that's not on this list. Again, gambling, eating, exercise or dieting, shopping, shoplifting, or other risky behaviors. Obviously, there is having, viewing, graphic material, video games, and using the internet are all highly addicted. And everybody out there that I've seen and talked to are addicted to one of these, if not majority of them. All right. Now here's the other ones: caffeine, alcohol, cannabis, other drugs such as PCP and LSD, sleeping pills, pain pills, opiates. You guys can all see it: tobacco, smoking, nicotine. It's all there. There's the list. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the studio. I hope you guys appreciate this podcast here tonight. Again, if you're new here, hit that sub, hit the smash the like button, and let me know what you want to see or hear on this podcast here tonight. Now, again, you guys saw the information in there. Again, that information's in the description. Click it. Go read some of it for yourself if I left something out. But how can we curtail this? How can we stop this from happening in the first place? Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Some of the things that you saw on that list, guys, some of those things that you saw on that list can be resolved or fixed. Let's take alcohol, for instance. You heard me talk about it in this podcast. I'll say it here again. Let's see if we stop producing it. I mean, completely take it off of store shelves. Stop making alcohol. Okay? I think that if we did that, we would get rid of a lot of the issues that were caused from dealing with it. Same thing with a lot of our drugs. Let's stop making drugs. Let's go ahead and do a full-fledged, reform the pharmaceutical companies. But of course not. It's a multi-million-dollar business, same as alcohol and everything else I'm talking here about tonight. We all know what's up. But the big question, if we get rid of it, the big question again, guys, if we get rid of it, is it going to resolve it or make things worse? Well, you be the judge on that. I think personally, if we got rid of a lot of the things that we can get rid of, I think personally, problem solved. It will take care of the jail and prison and the system as a whole. Our jails and our prisons won't be full as much as they are currently right now. Keep in mind, guys, the system is over 200-something years old. And we are currently now have over 2 million people locked up. That should tell you something. No other country can break that. We are the number one country, ladies and gentlemen, for mass incarceration. So what can we do to fix the problem? Well, for tonight's topic, addiction, I believe without any doubt in my mind at all, ladies and gentlemen, we can fix it and resolve it by stop producing it. Stop making this stuff, and I bet you I'm right. I bet you we will fix the problem that's going on right now in this country, such as DWIs, driving while you're intoxicated. Get rid of alcohol, and that wouldn't become a problem. Simple, right? There's a solution for everything in this country, guys. There is. We just got to act on it. But obviously, money and profits are more important than solutions. So I say this: if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem that you see here tonight. And nothing's going to change until we come to terms and realize that, hey, this country's got a problem. This country's got an addiction. And only you, including me, can fix it. We can't count on government to fix it. And we're not going to. There's too much money and other things at stake before government comes in and says, hey, you know what? You're right, Jay. We're going to go ahead and shut this down, shut that down, et cetera, et cetera. There's obviously a buttload of money in it. And why take away something if there's profit? If it's not broken, why fix it? Yeah. Well, then if we're not going to fix the addiction problem, we're going to continue to see the jail and prison problem become a major issue here in this country because, again, there's money in it. It all boils down to money. Nothing more, nothing less. And I say this, the government, you can keep your devil's toilet paper. I don't want nothing of it. Like I said, guys, not to sound like a broken record, there's a solution for everything. And only us can fix it. We the people. All right. We the people. It's either we stand up and fight the good fight and come to terms and wake up and realize what's right there in front of our face, or we're just going to sit back and watch this whole thing come down hard or crash down hard on all of us. That's where we stand in it. Fix it now, or there might not be a chance to fix anything. Yep. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this podcast here tonight, guys. I hope you really do appreciate it. I do put a lot of work into these things. For tonight's update, two things. One, we have a live show coming up tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central, right here in Florida, of all places. So 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Live. We're going to be talking about that situation that occurred here just recently. I don't want to spoil it, so you want to know more about it, tune in tomorrow live with me and the rest of the team right here from Inside Out. I think you guys are going to be really shocked on this story if you haven't heard it anyways. And there's a lot of interesting details with that case and why it took place. So we're going to, talk about that and a few other things. So stay tuned for that. And also realize, guys, we have a major storm brewing out there in the soon-to-be Gulf. It's supposed to become a Category 3 hurricane. Yep, you heard that correctly, guys. Category 3 hurricane. And unfortunately, it's going to miss us just by a close shave. It's going to go more towards the bend of Florida. If you guys know where that's at, they call it the bend of Florida. It's going to hit over there. It's not going to hit our neck of the woods, thankfully, but another close shave again, ladies and gentlemen. But again, they say it's a matter of time when it's our turn to get hit. And if you live out in Florida, this is a natural thing that happens every year. So, but anyways, I'll keep you guys updated if it does any changes. If it hits us, then most likely the podcast for Friday, because it's supposed to hit land or come ashore Thursday. So weather's going to change around here. It's going to get interesting. I'll keep you guys updated if anything does change and the forecast changes. And if it decides to take another turn or head more this way, there probably won't be a podcast for Friday's Man's Night. So just a heads up. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and back out of here. I hope you guys really enjoy this show and understand how this whole thing works. If you guys got comments, questions, concerns related to this podcast tonight or anything I've done in the past, or you have a show idea, email me right now at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Yep, absolutely. Email me again at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Hook up, let's talk, let's do something, and let's see if we can put something together for a future podcast. All right? As you guys know, I'm a prison activist. This is what I do, and I try to figure out solutions to take care of our overcrowded prisons and jails. There's a solution for everything. So let's figure it out, and let's bring these solutions to light. All right? With that said, I'm your host, Jay. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for being here and tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow live right here from Inside Out Network. Good night, everybody.